What's going on, guys? The Comics Kid 2099 here. Welcome to day 78 of the 365-day graphic novel review challenge. Today, I want to talk to you about Flash! Savior of Central City. This is volume 1 of The Flash from DC Rebirth, called Lightning Strikes Twice. It collects the first 8 issues of the new Flash ongoing series, as well as the Flash Rebirth one-shot. And the plot of this book is that there is this group of mad scientists. They release a speed storm that gives a whole bunch of people in Central City superpowers, kind of like what the Flash has. And then there is this evil speedster called Godspeed. We don't know who it is, and he is going around stealing speed from these other speedsters, and it is killing them in the process. And this reminds me a lot of the Flash TV series, where each season has an evil speedster and we don't know who it is and we're trying to figure it out. This reminds me a lot of that, but I actually like this book better than the TV show. I think that it is superior in a couple of different ways. The biggest way is that I like that Barry Allen is the smartest guy in the room in this book. My big complaint about the Flash TV show is that Barry Allen is supposed to be this really smart forensic scientist, and he's supposed to know all this stuff about science that helps him use his powers in interesting ways. But in the show, he's the dumbest guy in the room. Everyone else that he knows is smarter than him about his powers. Here, Barry is the mentor figure to all of these new speedsters. He is training them, and he knows more about the Speed Force than any of them, and I like that. I really like that this book is casting him as the Obi-Wan Kenobi to all these new Padawans. And the bad guy of the book, I'm kind of mixed minds on him, because at first he's a lot like Professor Zoom and Reverse Flash from the TV series. He's evil, he just shows up, you don't know who he is, and then he kills someone, and then he goes away. And I'm going to be spoiling who this guy is, so if you don't want to be spoiled, or if you haven't read this book, turn off this video right now. Okay, if you're still here, this guy is August Hart, who is one of the police on the Central City Police Force. He is Barry's friend, and his brother was murdered sometime before this book starts. And then early in the book, he's actually the first person to get struck by the speed storm, and then he gets superpowers, and then later there are these 3 speedsters who get their speed stolen, and then they die, and he's there when that happens, and he's telling Barry, it was this guy, he called himself Godspeed, and he punched me a little bit, but he didn't take my speed. And right then, I was a little suspicious because he didn't get his speed taken and these other guys did, and it reminded me of a scene from The Flash Season 1 where Harrison Wells beat himself up to make people think that he wasn't the Reverse Flash, but I was thinking, surely they're not going to make this guy be evil right away, because pretty much as soon as he gets his powers, and he's talking about how he wants to get revenge for his brother being killed, I knew that they were going to take him down to the dark side, but I didn't think it was going to be this soon. I figured it was going to be like volume 3 or 4. I did not think that they were actually going to make him be Godspeed, and they did, and I think that it works okay, but they are a little bit inconsistent with his characterization. Right when Barry finds out that August is Godspeed, he confronts Godspeed saying, you killed my girlfriend, and then Godspeed's like, oh, don't act like you really cared about her, you barely knew her, you barely knew any of these people, it's no big deal that I killed them, and he's acting like a sociopath who doesn't care about anybody. And then in the very next issue, he's saying, look, I didn't mean to kill anybody, all of these deaths that I caused were an accident, except for one of them where I was actually trying to kill that guy. And then he's acting like he's Barry's friend. He is very inconsistently portrayed here, and I wish they had just gone one direction or the other. Have him be a normal guy who, once he gets these superpowers, it goes to his head and he wants more power, so that's why he's killing all these people, or have him be something who genuinely believes that the Flash is a good guy, and he honestly sees himself as the Flash's friend, and he's trying to help the Flash. He wants to help him fight crime, and he sees all these people as wasting their superpowers, so he wants to take their speed so that he can use their powers to fight crime like the Flash, and then he accidentally kills them, and then he goes too far down a dark path and he can't return from that. I wish they had just gone one direction or the other. This book tries to play him both ways, and it does not work, and I wish that they had worked it a little better, because it seems like they're going to be bringing him back in later volumes, and I'm not sure which version of him they're going to bring back. Are they going to bring back the one who thinks that he's the Flash's friend, or are they going to bring back the guy who doesn't care about anybody and he's pretty much very selfish and is just out for himself? I'm not really sure which version of this character they are going to bring back. And also, his origin is kind of sort of like Hunter Zolomon's origin, which I don't know a whole lot about the character of Hunter Zolomon, but both of these guys were on the police force, and then they get superpowers, and then they're using their powers to try and help Barry, but in a way that makes them very morally ambiguous and villainous in certain ways. So it's kind of retreading the Hunter Zolomon character, and I don't know if Hunter Zolomon even exists in this new timeline, but I wish that we didn't have to only have evil speedsters be Barry's foes. That's another thing that I don't like about the TV show. I wish that we could have more characters who don't use super speed as their power, but maybe we're going to get more of that in this series because the mad scientists who caused the speed storm, they are going to be coming back. This book hints that they are going to be a bigger threat in later volumes, so that should be interesting to see. But overall, I like this book. I have been noticing that a lot of the Rebirth books are not as much of a reboot as I thought that they would be. Superman was pretty much a reboot of the New 52, bringing back the previous Superman from after Crisis on Infinite Earths all the way up to Flashpoint. But then all the other books have basically just been a continuation of the New 52 with new numbering. This kind of sort of plays it both ways. It acknowledges stuff that happened before Flashpoint. It brings back the Wally West from before Flashpoint, and then he disappears just as soon as he comes in. And then it also is set in the New 52 timeline. This Barry, I think, has memories of the New 52 and the previous timeline. So, in theory, he should be, like, having a mental breakdown, like, telling Iris something that happened, and then she would say, that never happened to us because it happened in the previous timeline. That should be happening to Barry, but he seems to be taking it pretty much okay. So it makes me wonder just how much of the previous timeline that he actually remembers, because he remembers his death from Crisis on Infinite Earths, but then he doesn't seem to be affected by that too much. So I am curious just how much of the original timeline that Barry actually remembers. But other than that, I really like this book. I don't have a whole lot of problems with it other than the portrayal of the villain. I'm really excited about this series. I've never read Flash consistently, so this is going to be very interesting for me. I'm very much looking forward to reading more of this. So that's all that I have to say about The Flash Lightning Strikes Twice. I hope that you guys liked this video, and if you did, be sure to check me out every other day this year where I'm going to be talking about lots of other graphic novels. In the meantime, you guys have a great rest of the day. Catch you later.